The days shortened, and then came the excited, almost endless readying for New Year. We boys fought to try grinding the rice flour on the stone mill. Each year, as my muscles grew stronger, my turn lasted longer. Baba made an apartment for German refugee family in what had been our bedrooms, and we were scattered to make room for the Ludeks. They had one child, a baby named Jean. At first, my sisters treated her like a live, blonde, blue-eyed doll. They named her Lou Mei, beautiful sister. Fifi combed her hair into one big curl at the top and then called on us to admire her. Mrs. Ludek often put Jean out on the deck for a sunbath, even in the freezing winter. Ma was horrified. We were so bundled up against the cold that we walked like penguins, even when we just went out to look at Lou Mei, who had become like our new baby sister. She played with our old blocks, and when she spoke, her first word was in Chinese, awa, ouch. Early spring, when the mulberry leaves were sprouting, was the season for trading silkworm eggs at school. We made paper origami boxes for their houses. The eggs were tiny when the silkworms hatched. They were so small that you could hardly see them wriggling. We cut mulberry sprouts and then leaves to feed the silkworms as they grew bigger and bigger, until we could actually hear them chomping. Then suddenly they would climb a wall and go into a trance, leaning their heads up and away. A strand of silk pulled taut against the wall. Before we knew it, they were spinning cocoons. At first the cocoons were transparent, so we could see the silkworms inside. Then we couldn't see the silkworms anymore, only their cocoons. Most were white, but some were pink or yellow or powder blue, the colors of our old bedrooms. I was tutored in history and civilization. Once during a break, my tutor and I were looking at a map, and he said, "Does Japan look like a silkworm to you? And China a mulberry leaf?" They did. When Jean helped us pick up mulberry leaves, I thought about how many of her people's homes in Germany had been devoured by the war as well. The lynx still came over, but without the two oldest boys who had joined the China's Air Force. George and I played and talked nonstop about everything and went to American movies, especially westerns. If he missed one, I acted it out for him, becoming a cowboy, sheriff, outlaw. He was the perfect audience. We drew together, did card tricks at parties, decorated the parlor. At Christmas time, we made snow scenes with white flour for snow and matchbox houses with flashlight bulbs in their windows. George was my best friend. We played hide and seek with Jean and were so surprised by how small the old hiding places become. The mantelpiece pushed into my head even when I hunched over. My sisters under the coffee table were like stepsisters' feet in Cinderella's glass slipper. Only towards the very end of the war did we hear bombs. First we'd hear the long warning siren that meant enemy planes had been sighted. Then came the quick shrill blast signaling that the bombing was about to begin. We gathered in the hallway where the dinner bell was, the safest part of the house. Baba said there were no windows so we could keep the light on. When everyone was settled comfortably, the stories began. Baba told of a woman kung fu warrior with bound feet. She was chasing an enemy who was getting away until his shadow from the slanting moonlight fell in her path. She kicked his shadow so hard that she killed the poor bandit. I pictured her, not the bombs outside, which didn't frighten me away. I knew nothing could happen to us within these walls, in the house that Baba built. And then suddenly and unbelievingly, the war was over. The first thing I said was, "Now we can have meat again." It had been years since I tasted braised pork. Parachutes drifted down from the sky carrying medical supplies and food. Some found their way to us. Cheese tasted like rubber, but as Ma said, it was protein. The two Ling boys came to our house wearing their pilot uniforms. Cousin Wilbur's friend, a Chinese-American lieutenant, brought treats. Popular Science magazine for me, nylon socks for Mom, dance records for Mimi, chocolate for everyone. We gave a big party for family, friends, and soldiers. George and I did the jitterbug we'd learned from the movies. Sunny's dad sang Peking opera. Sunny played the accordion and then the ukulele for my hula show. Everyone raced paper turtles. We rolled up the rug for a family relay race. Everyone ran across the room holding a pea and chopsticks, shrieking with laughter. Even Aunt Nihma, who had a half-pound feet, raced it. She couldn't run fast as the rest of us, but she was the best with the chopsticks and didn't drop the once. Her Baba rounded off the race by imitating everyone's running style. We danced the conga, all of us young and old, through the whole downstairs of the house that Baba built. I did get braised pork shoulder, plus unimagined fresh fruits from abroad. Strawberries, mangoes, bananas so ripe they were almost black, but oh so sweet. Now we realized that what we had missed during all those war years. It took weeks to fill the pool. We were lulled in shallow water waiting. In the midst of all of this, Mimi became engaged to a handsome Chinese interpreter. A bridal suit was added to the house that Baba built. When the 20 years came to an end, Baba kept his promise to the landowner. The house had done its job. We 5 were safe. Like the sons of the Dragon King, we scattered, and some of us settled far from home. Baba sends his hope in this letter. Dear children, you may put down as rule number 1 that life is not rich, not unless you partake with your fellow man. A successful life and a happy life is one measured by how much you have accomplished for others, and not one as measured by how much you've done for yourself. Love, Dad. Only as I was making this book, 75 years after Baba built the house, did I realize that he used double-tiered brick walls and 18-inch thick concrete slabs on the roof fit for roller skating to make the hallway bomb-proof. This house survived World War II and all the changes that have come to China since. The crows did not. No more do the flights fill the Shanghai sky with cawing and beating black wings.